Hello and welcome to 2023, the year we become Paro. It's episode 119 of the Paro Pod. Welcome, everyone.
Hello.
Sit around this glorious campfire that we've laid in front of us as we camp out, watching the stars above for our recommended film, 2010. I thought it was called 2010, the year we made contact.
It is.
Is it? I think it's just called 2010.
Is it? It's called 2010 where I watched it.
Yeah, it's
But
same.
like when you look it up, it says 2010, the year we made contact.
I think maybe that's the name of the book. Anyway, doesn't matter. Yeah, our recommended film is the sequel to 2001.
We don't even know the name of our record.
Yeah, we don't even know the name. So, I mean, for the past few episodes, we didn't even know what episodes we were on. So
yeah, true.
we're back on track though. This is episode 119.
I'm pretty sure.
We do not have a guest with us this week. We will look. People be busy. People be busy nowadays.
It's so hard to organize anything.
Bro, I haven't hung out with our mates, like our group of mates, in
it's-
about like 4 months.
It's messed up. We need to do something soon. You know,
Just very difficult to coordinate a group of people,
it really is. You know, there's always something going on. It's all these clashing kind of
especially in summer.
schedules. Summer. Everyone's off doing their own thing, and it's just like
Everyone's traveling, you know,
everyone's traveling. Well,
much
for the
like
most part.
yourself.
Much like myself, I was away. I was in Paris. Paris, as the locals call it.
Mhm.
I've been there before. But
How
it's
many
my
times have you been in Paris?
third time. It's my third time.
Third time.
I went to Disneyland when I was like 10, and then I went last year with my brother. I didn't have a great
Technically
impression
4
of it.
times, Mark. You did go to during the Primavera sprint.
That debacle, yeah. No, I was there for that as well for like 2 or 3 hours. No, it's a lovely place. I didn't like it initially when my first impression when I was 10 years old was not very good.
Shithole.
Yeah, this place is shit. It was constant. It was like raining. It was cloudy. It was quite cold. We were there on Paddy's Day. I don't know. I felt like everyone was mad rude and stuff.
Yeah.
I just didn't have a great impression of it.
And then you
Then-
get older and you get more cynical and you're like, these people are just like me.
Yeah, these people. You appreciate their honesty.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
They're just honest about like just not liking people who don't know what they're doing. I went last year with my brother. It was great. We didn't do any of the tourist stuff. We just kind of went around the historical sites. And then last weekend I went with Orla, and we did all the romantic stuff. Of course, we went to the Eiffel Tower. We went to Tuileries. We went to Notre Dame.
To go around the
Seine.
the Seine, yeah.
Yeah, we didn't do the boat tour, but we walked down it and
Yeah.
stuff. And it was a scorch. It was like 30 degrees.
Just like before sunset.
Just like the before trip.
Yeah, whichever one the middle one is.
Yeah, no, it was really nice. Very, very nice. Good fun. Good weather. And I was sweating like a dog the entire time. We had a nice little apartment. It was a lovely little apartment. It was a very posh area. Everything was so expensive. It was €10 a pint. I was there last year with my brother. It was we somehow got lucky. I must have fallen into some fucking time vortex. Some like
Where they were still stuck in like 1970s.
yeah. Some kind of twilight zone in the middle of Paris where like all the points were like €5. Everything was like very reasonable. And the only thing that is really more expensive than Dublin is the points. Like the actual like elite, like a pint of lager.
Yeah,
Everything else is cheaper.
Do you know
But you're in Paris. You're in.
you're in fucking Paris.
You're in Paris. It's a totally different ball game. You know.
You know that Ireland is now the EU's most expensive country.
Yeah. What are we supposed to do with
For
that? what do
you got to show for that?
Yeah, what do we have to show for that? The most expensive country, and like we've no public services whatsoever. Paris is metro. You couldn't swing a cat without falling into a metro.
Yeah.
None of them have AC, big issue. But they have like fucking 50 different lines of metros, and they all connect with each other.
Yeah.
So like, no matter where you are in the city, and you can get like day passes. We had a 3-day pass. It was €30. Go use it as many times as we want. It was like, what the hell is this?
Earlier this year that the like Ombus, what the fuck is Ombus? What the head
The ombudsman.
ombudsman? They were like, we're years of having contactless payments on buses. Why?
Years off.
What do you mean years?
It's like
what fucking black magic did you use?
yeah, this isn't science fiction. They have this in England. They have this in Northern Ireland. Like, they have this on this island already. Yeah, contactless. Like, what the hell?
You can't get day passes to the leave card and shit like that. Like,
yeah, nothing like that. It's just not. The city isn't like built properly at all. Paris is very well built, but they had the advantage of getting bombed to shit during World War II, so they rebuilt everything.
we just restart.
Yeah, they got a chance to restart. I went to this lovely museum called the Musée Carnavalet, It's near the Bastille. It has like all the different. It's like tiered. In terms of like the different historical eras of Paris, so you have like the Roman kind of village,
Yeah.
in the basement, and then you go to like the medieval period, on like the ground floor, and it's like up and up and up, and then you have the revolutionary period and the 20th century on the top floor. I went through like the actual like geography and like political history, of the city, and like how it was like destroyed and rebuilt like several times in the past two centuries, 3 centuries. You know, it's like first in the middle of the 18th century, then after the war, like they just tore down huge parts of the city and just rebuilt it. And there was like always people kind of like, fuck this. It's like, what about like the skyline and stuff? And then they were just like, fuck that. It's like, no, you don't get a say. Fuck you.
Shut up.
Which, you know, is that right or wrong? It doesn't really matter. It worked out well in the end. That's what they should do here. You know, that's what they should do here.
Again.
Knock down huge parts of the city, just rebuild it. No one gets to say no dissent. You know, just like a final decision. Yeah, we're gonna knock down all the offices north of the Liffey. No, you don't get any say in this. You know,
we're doing it.
A few false flags, bomb a few places, make it work. But yeah, no, it used to be it used to be one of the poorest cities in Europe, Paris. And has this crazy reputation as like the city of love, you know. But that's all very recent. Up until like 1900, it was known as this shithole, which is like a hotbed of violence,
and disease,
and disease and poverty, mixed in with all the rich people and stuff, and like kind of the, you know, the artisans and all that kind of jazz. But now it's like the reverse. It's just totally flipped.
Yeah.
And Dublin, what is Dublin? It used to be one of the poorest cities in Europe, and now it's the richest city in Europe. But look, compare them.
Physically, nothing has changed.
Yeah, but exactly, if you actually live here, it's the exact. Well, it's not the exact same, but it's like what happened? Like this doesn't correlate to real life at all. But no, Paris. What a lovely place. What a gorgeous place.
I'm gonna go someday, maybe next year.
Yeah. I find the historical stuff very interesting. Just because anywhere you go. Literally, like every single street has.
Same as Rome.
Exactly. Just like Rome, every street has
old ass European capitals.
Yeah. Like in Rome, it's like we were walking up to the.
Is Rome the capital of Italy?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. As soon as I said that, I was like, I don't know if that's true.
No, Rome is the big cheese in Italy. But I remember standing beside the rock where I think Caesar was like stabbed or something like that.
I remember just standing beside the rock.
The rock. He's just in Rome. That's the difference between Dublin and other European cities. Just find
they got the rock.
You just see the rock. But I remember standing beside his little stone where he got stabbed, and everyone's like, there's like pennies all over the ground. People threw it in for good luck or whatever. I was like, well, like this is like Caesar was stabbed here. You know, like everyone who's ever lived since he died knows who Caesar was. It's like a momentous, like a turning point in all of human civilization. You know, in Dublin we have a statue of Daniel O'Connell, who maybe a third of the people on this island have never even heard of that guy. Like,
do you know?
You know?
Yeah, no. Do you know what's when was it? I think it was earlier this year, and I think I've been saying it for years. You know the Molly Malone statue?
Yeah.
What's the one's name that W.B. Yeats was always?
Maud Gonne.
I swear to God, man, it was only this year that I realised that Molly Malone is not Maud Gonne.
Why did you think it was Maud Gonne?
I have no idea. In my brain, I was just like, yeah, Molly Malone.
Maud Gonne was a bit of a... She wasn't the... You know... You ever see a picture of her?
No.
It's like, she's like the... I don't know what, like the old kind of mystery, the old kind of... I don't know... The muse.
Lady of the night.
The reverse nearly. The muse of like early 20th century, the Irish golden age of culture.
Yeah.
You know, it's like she was like, oh, this woman she's the Helen of Troy, the Irish Helen of Troy. Then you see a picture of her and it's like, she was
rough.
She's pretty rough. So what the hell is this?
Come on,
this is all we had. This is all we have to point at.
Whoops. Because I'm always just like, oh, that poor Molly Malone. Even in death, she's still getting lusted after. And it's only when I said it, I can't remember what I was doing. I think I looked up the Molly Malone statue, and then I was reading it, and I was like, hold on a second, this isn't W.B. Yeats' woman.
Yeah.
This is your one from that song.
Yeah, Molly Malone.
I was like, I've never felt like. It was like I Mandela affected myself. And just myself.
It's understandable. For a while, I thought Molly Bloom and Molly Malone were the same person, like the same character. You know.
Mod gone. Jeez.
She just looks like every Irish woman from that period. Like
Yeah, she does.
They all kind of look like that.
She's just like Countess Markovich, like every woman. Like that.
Countess Markovich had quite a bit on top of Mod Gone, I'd say. Honestly,
and
that's just my opinion.
she was a fighter.
and she actually stood up for her beliefs. I don't know anything about Mod Gone. Maybe she did as well. But anyway, but yeah, no, like they have Rome has Caesar, all the boys, Roman Forum, the Colosseum, all this is incredible history. Paris, so you can stand on the spot where they cut off the king's head, where they declared basically this the start of modern civilization.
Yeah.
You know, you have the Arc de Triomphe, you have Napoleon's tomb, the man who conquered Europe.
You got the catacombs as well.
You got the catacombs. You got like, you know, they've like old Roman artifacts as well. Here we have a post office with a few bullet holes in it. And that's it. That's all we have. That's it. There's nothing else. And it's just like, and the whole like the beginning and end of it is, back in the day, a few lads occupied this post office and then they got ran out of town and executed. And that's it. That's all. That's the entire story. And France are like, Napoleon, he came from poverty. He was actually Italian. He conquered all of Europe. He was exiled, and then he came back and conquered Europe again. So what the hell is like? It's just
who is this dude?
The scale is just ridiculous, compared to what we have. But
yeah, I think with Ireland, I like obviously it's the benefit of being a colonial superpower is the fact that you can flex. Like, look how grand we were. Whereas Ireland's like, look at us. We just claimed our land and fought forever over it.
Yeah, and always lost.
And always lost until we eventually won.
Yeah.
Oh god. Well, we can claim that we made the Titanic, sort of.
We made a boat that sank in its first voyage.
Man, that submarine.
The submarine thing. Yeah, what do you think,
bro? Like initially, like when because I think everything about it is very interesting. You know, I remember seeing a comparison that was like the wealth of the people that were on that submarine, because they were all at least multi-millionaires, at the very least multi-millionaires, like a few billionaires on that.
Except for the kid.
He
wasn't really, he was 19.
He was 19, but like, you know, still a kid.
Still a kid,
yeah. For them, like the comparative cost of going onto that submarine is the same as someone on $100,000 salary. $100,000 salary that most people are not on.
No, not at all. Unless you believe Leo Varadkar, the average person in Ireland makes 185 or whatever, you know.
Whatever the fuck you say.
Yeah.
I'm sure if you like take all the wealthy people and decide, I just add it all up and divide. That's how you do that.
That makes sense. Yeah.
It was the price of an expensive cup of coffee.
That's it.
Like if you compare, it was like the equivalent of it, like the percentage wise of their money for someone on $100,000 salary. It was the price of buying a €7 cup of coffee.
What a rip-off it was in the end.
I know, yeah. Man.
Imagine buying a cup of coffee and then you just die.
Man, I was looking at like videos and like the kind of explanations of like what happened.
Dire.
Like just to like, I don't know how, like, I'm not I'm not the most scientific person, but I was watching Hank Green talking about it, and he was saying that like there was so much pressure that cells in their body were destroyed.
The cells were destroyed.
On the cellular level, they were imploded.
That's a great way to go.
Like literally
just instantaneous.
Like your brain would not have even comprehended that it happened.
Yeah.
You were there and then you were not.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean, like physically you were there and then you're just got, like, there's nothing left of you.
Yeah.
It's the equivalent of apparently the heat that like would have been inside the submarine, like when it's collapsed, the heat of the sun.
The heat of the sun.
Of the surface of the sun.
Holy shit. Poor fish.
Yeah. Just
think of the fish.
Like like the area around it, just like the energy that was released.
Yeah.
Instantaneous. Like boiling water.
Yeah, I heard that, or I read that the U.S. Navy had detected like some kind of explosion underwater.
You think they would have said something?
Oh no, they said it to the commander of like of the search and rescue team, and they were like, "We'll just keep looking."
Just keep looking.
It's like, no, they're just gone. Like,
they're just gone.
They wasted like millions of dollars looking for them.
Yeah.
As well, it's like, come on, like there's no way. They were still looking for like a little while after they'd ran out of oxygen. Even if they had survived, they wouldn't have been able to breathe. It seems like kind of just a waste of money.
Yeah.
Especially like the contrast, like the optics of 800 migrants just being like left to die in the sea, and it's kind of covered for like 2 days, and then people spend a week obsessing over that, and like millions of dollars is pumped into looking for these people who are just clearly dead.
Yeah.
The optics were just terrible. But yeah, it was very kind of interesting. Yeah, captures the imagination. Stuff like that. It's just so ridiculous.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, I don't think anyone really... People were more laughing at what had happened, which is also kind of bad taste. But it is kind of... Like, there's no way... I would rather... If someone said, you have to get in this boat, I would just kill myself on the spot, you know? There's no possible way I would ever get into any machine that looked like that. Even if it looked amazing, even if it was up to code, which apparently it wasn't.
Yeah, apparently it was like, this is like essentially getting there in a tin can.
Yeah, and see the little hole they had, like the window. It's like, what's the point?
Yeah.
It's like you'd have to crouch down to get a little look at the Titanic. So you can do that on YouTube.
Like, even like one of the fellas on it was, I think it was either he's a descendant of, or his wife is a descendant of someone that died on the Titanic.
There you go.
Cursed.
Yeah.
There were like from this as well. I can't find the name of it. It was there was a deep sea drill explosion back in the 80s. It's dolphin barge, dolphin, something like that.
The dolphin bell. Yeah,
yes.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I was actually about to bring that up.
Yeah, like
because the lore behind that. It's like where your man's body parts were found. It's like he was just because I saw a video.
They have photos of the bodies and stuff like that, like very readily available online. It's not advised that you look that up.
I've never seen that.
Yeah, because I don't think anyone wants to see. Well, because those images are fucking grim.
Yeah, fuck that.
Don't. So like, essentially, what had happened was, I don't know the full structure thing, but essentially, they were in a pod and they're coming back to the main chamber. And what you had to do is you had to attach and then pull a lever to open up the hatch. But as they were still connecting, someone pulled the lever too early. And the pressure that was released. So one of the divers was pulled through a hole the size of, like, if you put your middle finger to your thumb and make a circle, he's pulled through something around that size. Like,
it's quite small.
They found his spine floating in the water afterwards. Like, just his spine. And then the other divers that were around him apparently boiled alive instantaneously, like so fast that like it was instantaneous, like they were dead straight away. But they boiled. They boiled because the heat within that was released. It's the same thing with the heat in the submarine implosion. It's an implosion.
Yeah, implosion. Yeah.
Yeah. That's like it just boiled them alive instantly. And they found that's
still pretty grim.
Their body parts fucking everywhere. Like fuck the water, bro. Fuck the ocean. Leave that shit alone. Don't go near it.
Like, at least if there's like decompression in space, it's like you just kind of blow up, I suppose. Either you blow, even if you float off, if you get exposed to the elements in space, well, that's kind of a worse death, maybe. But like, it's almost.
I don't know if
I'd say water is. I'd be way more afraid of water than outer space. Well, it's probably because I have less experience with outer space.
Because you can. Would you freeze instantaneously in outer space, or would you?
I think you'd survive for a few seconds.
So you would be conscious.
You'd be conscious to feel yourself dying, yeah.
At least if it's underwater, like it's happening so quick that your brain can't even comprehend that it's happening.
That's what they tell us.
That's what they say.
You know, before I can't remember why or when. I think it was on Twitter or something like that. It's just this Twitter. It was just this video of a crab. It's just stuck with me. Is why I'm bringing it up. But it's like this. It was like a pipe, like an underwater pipe. I was like really deep in the ocean, and there was some kind of hole or fault in the pipe. So like there was a crab right beside it when like the hole.
I've seen this. Yes, I've seen this.
It's quite a big crab, and like there's this tiny hole in the pipe, and because the pressure is like equalizing explosively or implosively or whatever, the crab, through the force of this equalization of pressure, the crab, this like quite large crab, is just like sucked through this hole that's like probably like smaller than your fingernail, and you can see like the crab's still alive and he's like struggling to get away for a bit, but like he's just like he's just forced. All of him is just forced through this tiny hole. It's just holy shit, what the fuck? That's just stuck with me. Imagine that happened to a person.
Yeah.
Fair enough, explosive, implosive decompression, being instantaneously boiled alive, that sounds fairly quick. But imagine being like, oh, my foot's caught. Oh shit, here we go. You know? You'd be in bits.
You
Literally.
would be, man.
Literally.
I'm gonna take a slight break because I want to see this video. So that crab was sucked through the hole within 2 seconds after analysing the footage.
We analysed the footage, did a deep dive.
Oh my
and
God.
we analysed the footage. This crab was stung. He got stung. And then another crab came along, got stung. They looped the video, tricked me.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck that. I wouldn't want that. Delta P, I think is the technical term they mentioned in the video. Delta P. Equalizing pressure. Just don't go underwater. That's my advice.
Under any circumstance. But it's mad because like, even if you're like, diving underneath water, if you ever like go into a pool and you're underneath the water, like you go deep to the
Feel
bed,
the weight.
you can feel how heavy the water is on your like on your body.
The
And that's-
chest, yeah.
That's only like 6 foot of water
Mm.
in a small pool.
Yeah, like was it you tell me about like the way free divers in certain cultures have adapted?
Yeah, they have to. I think when you're diving that deep, there is like you do have to like account for the pressure on your body.
Yeah. But like
'Cause-
people who have to, or like cultures or tribes who like lived off shellfish or whatever. They've over generations they've adapted.
Oh, yeah,
they can
they've-
hold their
yeah.
breath longer, and
And
they've
their bodies are like. I think I feel like I might be making this up, but I feel like their feet or something are even webbed.
Yeah. You
I think
definitely said
there's
before,
something like that they like their bodies have like adapted so much that like their lungs are like different and their limbs are different shape and like they have like kind of webbed feet. I don't think their hands are webbed, but they got like kind of webbed toes and that so they can swim. But yeah, like
it's just
stay away from the water.
bad news.
It's bad juju.
Bad news. There's only ever been 4 successful submarine rescues in the history.
That
Ever.
is not surprising
Ever.
whatsoever.
So what was the point of doing all that?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anywho, we gone to something lighter,
I'll get into something, a bit meatier.
something a bit meatier, something a bit more hefty, something a bit more punching, swinging for the fences. Hey yo, Tommy, it's Rocky 5, the 5th installment
Rocky V.
of the Rocky franchise, nearing the end of our Rocky Balboa series review. Like potentially Creed, but probably not because
Probably not.
Rocky 5 kind of killed me a little bit.
Yeah. Rocky 5 took it out of me, took the wind out of me. I think Rocky V, Adrian's Revenge, as mentioned in The Simpsons, would have been a cooler kind of thing,
Yeah, I think so.
Rocky 5, I don't know what the hell's happening in this movie.
It's a weird old movie.
by far the worst Rocky movie.
Oh, by a mile.
By a million miles.
Yeah.
It's just all
Like, it's
over
not
the
even
shop.
close.
It's not even close. It's not even close. It's the first one where, if we've been kind of, I don't know, sometimes it's in bad taste. The Sly Stallone impressions.
Mm-hmm.
The man has an actual disability. In this,
I didn't know that. Does he actually?
oh no, he has like some kind of, like they cut one of his facial muscles when he was like being born or
I
something like that.
didn't know that.
That's why you sound like that. No.
Oh shit!
It is in bad taste. But in this
I can't
movie,
believe it's the 5th Rocky film. I'm only finding this out now.
no, yeah, it was an accident when in the
When he was
process
born.
of him being born, the doctors accidentally cut with the forceps and cut his one of his facial muscles. So that's why he has a bit slurred speech. So it's in bad taste to do impressions of Sylvester Stallone. But
I feel like I've seen Stallone talk though, and he doesn't talk like how Rocky talks.
that's the thing. This film, it deserves to be taken the piss out of. Like he goes way to this film. There's points in the film where you just don't know what he's saying. Like, but like
you legit need subtitles.
you honestly, yeah, you actually need subtitles. You need I was like leaning forward, like trying to closely listen. But it didn't matter how much you turn up the volume. He's just slurring his words, even though like all through the series, there's never an issue. Kind of,
Nope.
He has a very particular style of talking. But you can hear what he's saying, and he can enunciate himself very well. He's a good actor, you know. He's a stage actor. He's a professional. He's a trained actor. And this one, he's just, it's Christmas.
Santa Claus is coming down.
What the fuck? You just speak clearly, like.
Yeah, he's not saying words. I feel like he's making noises more than speaking.
Yeah. He just sounds like he's locked, like absolutely locked.
Though to be fair, maybe that ties into the head injury storyline in this film. Maybe it was intentional.
It was an intentional artistic choice. He's just explaining it in like perfect like diction in the like a press junket after the movie.
Which arguably, that's more bad taste than what we were doing.
Yeah, it's actually way worse.
Yeah, because this Rocky 5 starts off it's like, Jesus, Rocky got the shit kicked out of him in Rocky 4. And he's like, he has, is it CRT? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, he's some kind of brain injury. Yeah.
Which I found like, I was like, okay, cool. Like they're, like it's part of his character that he's getting the shit kicked out of him. This is an interesting start. Bit weird that it like less so the main actors, more so Rocky's kid has aged literally like 10 years in between Rocky 4 and 5. But they're meant to be, like Rocky 5 picks up immediately after Rocky 4. Like they're still in Moscow.
Yeah.
But like,
maybe it's a metaphor for how much he's gone through.
maybe. I don't think so. And that's mainly because Rocky just wanted to have his real life son play his son in Rocky 5, which is commendable. I thought like, and also kid's pretty good.
Sage Stallone. I didn't know it was his actual son because his kid's a pretty good actor.
Yeah. Like surprisingly, because it's like especially kids, and like it's Stallone directing this one still.
Probably, yes.
I feel like it is. Let me just double check that. I think it is. Oh no, it's not.
John G. Avildsen.
Did Stallone not direct this one? Is that why this one is like
That's why it's worse.
Rocky 1? Oh no, he didn't direct. He did 2, 3, 4, and then Rocky Balboa.
Honestly, yes.
You know what?
That's actually a good theory.
That is
Wait, he directed Rambo. Like, is that the new Rambo?
the new Rambo. Yeah.
Okay. Wait, he directed Staying Alive.
I've never even heard of that film. Yeah, he directed Staying Alive. Staying Alive. Oh, that's the dance one. Oh, no
Yeah.
way.
What the fuck? I did not know that.
That's so weird. Did he do it after Rocky 4?
What's Paradise Alley?
Living in the slums. They love each other. Wrestling. It's a wrestling movie. Wow. Fair play to Stallone.
Stick to what works.
Okay, so then maybe like, because like that kind of makes sense, because like this one feels like it's trying, and it really emphasis on trying to be like a social drama, like the first one and also the second one.
Roots. Yeah.
Trying to go back to the roots fails horrendously because this movie is fucking boring. This movie is boring.
Yeah. Like it's quite long. You know, it's not.
Yeah.
Wait, or am I thinking of a different film?
No, it is quite long. It's 140 minutes, and like Rocky 3 was 100 minutes, and like it just If like it, I don't know. Rocky 3 is a formula, and Rocky 5 moves away from that formula, like because the Rocky franchise up until this point has basically been Rocky has a big bad opponent that he needs to beat. And I do somewhat appreciate that in this film it's like, no, Rocky's big bad opponent is actually his. He's not even a big bad opponent because he's not established as a big bad opponent
It's just some
until
guy.
like the last like literally like 20 minutes of the film.
Yeah.
Is Tommy?
Tommy the Machine Gun.
Oh, yeah. I was like, is this Tommy Gunn?
Tommy
Yeah.
Gun, yeah.
Tommy sucks.
Which is a funny name. Yeah, Tommy is not really interesting because there's like not enough time to really establish him. Like they're trying to fit in like Rocky having this like existential crisis and being called back to his familial duties
Mm-hmm.
kinda, and like his responsibilities to himself. And obviously everything goes tits up and he's like somehow broke again for like the fourth time in the series.
Because he signed the power of attorney, or no, Paulie signed the power of attorney.
Paulie, what are you doing?
Which like I don't like. How is Paulie even able to do that? But anyway,
Yeah, how does Paulie have Rocky's power of attorney in the first place? Like
know.
Paulie's never contributed anything to the cause.
Yeah. Rocky's like, I'm gonna trust you with everything, like literally everything.
But yeah, so it's like split between Rocky's own personal drama and then also trying to set up his like fight career, or, like reestablish himself, because it's supposed to like get over, to like reassert himself as like, you know, the guy, the guy who's like in control of everything. He needs to fight someone at the end of the film,
Mm-hmm.
but the film doesn't really have enough time to actually like generate, to spawn in an opponent who's actually good enough that you would care about the results of the fight,
Yeah.
or like that is believable enough that you could see Rocky fighting him.
Yeah.
Or even the fact that Rocky's already retired and has a traumatic brain injury, and then he gets into a 10-minute street fight at the end of the film with a guy who's 20 years younger than him.
Yeah, and he beats that piss out of him.
Yeah, he kills him, but like it's just very bizarre. It's very bizarrely done.
Yeah, like it doesn't really work. I think it's a film that has like kind of like too much going, because they tried to stick to the formula in certain aspects, but also move away from it too much. So that like you can't fit a circle into a, you know, a triangle. You know.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really mesh all that well, and also because
Yeah.
Tommy is just like incredibly like, I just don't care. Like he's just
Yeah.
like, I don't care about this whiny dickhead.
Because
For some reason Rocky's just like, yeah, I'll train you, even though he's got no fucking reason to.
because he's inspired by the forced ghost of Mick. He's inherited Mick's gym, and he appears to him in a vision in the gym, and he's inspired based on that vision to become a trainer himself. And he takes Tommy under his wing. I think because that's basically halfway through the film, and then from that point you get another like quarter in. Tommy betrays Rocky, and he decides to go for the lights. He sees his name in the headlines. Yeah, so he's like, "Fuck this! I'm gonna shack up with this other guy."
Whatever that guy's name is. It's
yeah.
like really, who's the?
Duke, I think his name is.
Because I know it is a real life person.
It's the guy with the hair and the cigar.
Yeah, but like I only know him from The Simpsons.
Same.
Like I only know the counterpart is the parody version of The Simpsons. I don't actually know the real life person.
Yeah, neither do I.
Was he Mike Tyson's manager?
Something like that, yeah.
Because like,
His
no.
name was like Fat Joe or something.
Let's quickly look this up, because like that guy is like so incredibly iconic, and I've never actually seen the real guy. Oh shit! I didn't look up Fat Joe. That's not Fat Joe. That's not the guy at all. Joseph Antonio,
That's just
better
some
known by his
random-
stage name Fat
I don't know
Row.
what I'm talking about. I don't know who that is.
Although I don't think is he Mike Tyson's manager, because I think he's Mike Tyson's manager in The Simpsons.
He could. He managed. I think he managed like Lennox Lewis and stuff. I remember seeing him on TV.
Don King.
Don King.
That's it. Don King. Yeah.
What a great name.
That's a fantastic name.
Don King.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Don.
That's
yeah.
him.
He's basically Don King.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. That's what it was. Yeah. He's basically just like Don.
Manslaughter conviction. Jesus.
Oh my God.
But yeah, it's this. Yeah, he's like Don. How is he still alive? 91.
Jesus.
What a legend. An actual legend of the game.
Yeah.
But he shacks up with like fictional Don King, and it's supposed to be like this huge betrayal. But we've only known Tommy for like 20 minutes at this stage.
Yeah. 30 minutes out of a push.
Yeah, so we don't really care that this has happened, and it's not like that dramatic.
You are like, fuck you, Tommy, but you're just like, because I
yeah,
don't really care.
yeah, because you're kind of like
Yeah.
it's not that relevant to what's happened previously in the film, really. It's just kind of, it reflects poorly on Tommy as a person, but it's not that like kind of I don't know, relevant
I
to to Rocky's story in the film.
And I think as well, because Rocky doesn't really give a shit either. Rocky's just like, oh well, that dude's a prick.
Yeah, he's kind of humiliated by it, but he has other problems.
But also, like, the entire media are just like, literally call Tommy out on it immediately afterwards.
That was so over the top.
I know, it's like, you're in the shadow of Rocky. Rocky beat the shit out of you.
Imagine
still.
journalists actually did
Oh,
that.
yeah.
That would be amazing.
Like, shouting at a boxer who just won the world championship. Like, you're a bum.
You're a fake. You're a fraud. You're a paper champion.
A paper champion.
A paper champion. But yeah, the worst thing about the film is I think like it's nearly 2 hours, or it's over 2 hours, is it?
It's 144 minutes.
It's 2.5 hours.
No, sorry, 104 minutes.
104 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's not that long. But like it felt kind of long, but also kind of flew in. But in the sense that when we have the final fight, I didn't think that was the end of the film.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like the end.
I did not feel like the end of the film to me. I felt like it was
'Cause
going to be
there's still so
something
much-
else after. Yeah.
I feel like there's so much unresolved conflict still.
Yeah. It's just like, oh, he beats the shit out of a guy again,
And his son now cares about him.
yeah. So like, this is a Rocky movie, so this is the end of the film. Like, you know, the fact that he's beating someone up, so this is the end.
Like, this is going to be a really, like, stupid comparison to make, but I feel like if Rocky 5 was more like Rocky Balboa, like the next film, and they ended it there, perfect.
Perfect quadrilogy.
Like, perfect, because, like, with Rocky 5, they don't, like, obviously they set up his son, and, like, how his son feels, like, overlooked, because Rocky, even though he's lost everything, he's still so focused on boxing, and, like, that shit is interesting, but the fact that Tommy's in the movie pulls away the attention and the focus, like, especially towards the end, where, like, the family drama and the social drama isn't really relevant.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, Rocky doesn't even solve the family issues or anything like that. He just beats the shit out of someone. Like, the issues are still fucking there, kind of.
Yeah. This is an indictment of Rocky's how he deals with like domestic issues. You know, it's like, oh, my son hates me, my wife thinks I'm absent.
And you beat the shit out
I'm
of
just
this
gonna
guy.
beat the shit out of this guy.
And
I challenge this guy to a street fight, even though I have severe medical issues, and I could lose my life in the process of doing this. I'm just gonna beat this guy up, and everything will be fine. And all works. And they see him on TV. For some reason, straight away it's on TV because Don King has brought his camera crew. And the only reason, like, Adrian and his Rocky's son only find out about it because it's on TV, and they rush down. And they're just there cheering him on.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, this man has like a severe brain injury.
Like, I really feel like and like Tommy, like, it is shown in the fight that, like, Tommy, it does beat the shit out of some random people because they try and stop him.
Yeah.
But there is like 50 people in that crowd. I feel like Tommy would have got his head kicked in by that crowd.
Yeah,
It's like, you're beating up a retired, like, head traumatized legend of boxing.
Yeah.
I don't feel like people would have stood back and taken that.
He was a hero of the city who has a statue built. And you're gonna challenge him to a street fight and beat the shit out of him. I don't know. It's such a ridiculous. It feels like they just wanted to end the film. It's just like, okay, let's do this.
Yeah.
You know?
Because, like, I think one of the best things about, like, Rocky 1, 2, 3, 4 is, like, the rising escalation and, like, the absurdity of, like, how high the stakes are. That, like, by Rocky 5 is like, yeah, he goes to a street fight. We've run out of ideas.
Yeah, he starts street fighting. Like, that's pretty cool. But, like, that's something that sounds cool when you say it. Like, pitch it. Okay, Rocky's going back to basics. There's gonna be a street fight at the end of this movie. So that's a good idea. How does that work? It doesn't. It turns out when you flesh it out, it actually does not work at all. It doesn't work at all.
Especially, like, I love the way that, like, he even kicks in the street fight. Like, he kicks Tommy in the back of the legs and stuff like that.
It's like UFC. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and he puts him in a chokehold at one stage.
That's the next Rocky movie.
Yeah, UFC.
He's coming out of retirement. He's 75 years old. And he fights Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
And his big comeback.
Does the next one have, like, a fight, or is it, like, pure social drama?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about it, really.
The only thing
I just know the speech.
That's the only thing I know as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good speech.
It is a good speech. I'm wondering, like, because this film does have, like, a bit of, like, his son and stuff like that, and the issues going on there. I feel like Rocky Balboa might be able to flesh that out very well.
The son, yeah. Yeah, I suppose. Because the
There's
son
stuff
is in
there.
the film.
Yeah.
I didn't know if he was in the film or not. But yeah, I assume that's what they're going to explore.
Yeah.
You know, and it's way better received
Oh yeah, it's like
than
like if the letterbox ratings like drop for Rocky 5 and then they go straight back up to the same level of the other Rocky films, which is like that is fairly impressive considering
It's very impressive.
it's like it's a Rocky films. Like you don't think they're gonna be like that great or anything, but like I mean, I would easily rewatch the Rocky franchise, you know, in a couple of years' time.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Like, you know,
yeah.
there's just
I
such
watched
easy
the
watches.
First, yeah, the first 3
I
or
would
4.
100% skip this one.
Yeah, I wouldn't watch this again.
Because it's like,
I'd never watch this again.
there's nothing, even like the montages aren't that good.
That's a sign
like,
of decay, yeah.
You know, and I feel like there's only one montage in the film.
I honestly don't remember the montage.
Just Tommy like rising up the ranks with Rocky by his side. Because he wins, he goes from like a 2-1 fighter to a 22-1 fighter, or like a 2-0 fighter to a 22-0 fighter, something like that. So like, but even at that, like, I don't know. Also, there's the there's the plot line of like, is it Bobby? Bobby's the son, or Bob?
Bobby, Rocky's son, like
Rocky's son. What's his name?
Rocky's son.
He's there and he's he's just called Rocky Balboa Jr. He's just called Rocky. The whole thing with him, it like, again, interesting stuff. Like he's the son of a world famous fighter, and he because Rocky has lost everything, he has to go to a kind of like rough school, and he gets picked on and bullied, and he trains himself to be able to box.
That's interesting. Yeah.
And then he beats the shit out of his bullies, and then the next scene, the bullies are his best friends and are over for Christmas.
Yeah, that was weird. Yeah. I wasn't sure how that worked. Apparently, it's supposed to be like, he's falling in with the wrong crowd, and that's why he's like lashing out against Rocky. But it's really not communicated well in the film, or at all, really.
At all, like
yeah,
at all. And
he's just beats the shit out of this one guy in one scene, and literally in the next scene, he's over for Christmas dinner, and he's like ganging up on his father with the bully.
Yeah,
I said, what the hell happened there? Clearly, this is a troubled home, but the film is really interested in exploring it properly.
No, not at all. Yeah, again, like it just seems like there's so much more interesting stuff that is like time and focus is taken away to focus on Tommy, and that stuff is just like kind of lame and like uninteresting. Even though it does tie back into the family stuff, but like I don't know, it just doesn't. Yeah. It just doesn't really work. And also like the writing and the acting and the direction and stuff like that just isn't as good as the other ones.
No.
And there's not enough montages.
There's nowhere near enough montages in this film. You went from like, if we had a bar chart, a line chart, the different, it's kind of like it's a 45-degree angle. First 4 movies. I think it was the last film. It was 33% montage.
That was perfect.
This film is maybe 1%. It's fucked up.
It's bollocks.
It's a great crash.
The great crash of Rocky franchise.
The great Rocky depression. Yeah, fucked.
It's fucked.
Hopefully we get a few good montages in Rocky Balboa.
I'm hoping for like.
I'm hoping for a step scene.
I'm
pulling for a step scene. There has to be.
I feel like there is a fight. I think I've seen the fucking
fight on the steps.
I feel like I've seen. I don't think there's a fight on the steps, but I think I've seen. I think the one of the main images of. Yeah, he does get into a boxing fight. Jeez, he gets back into the ring in Rocky Balboa.
He's back in the ring.
2006. Jesus, that's a
why. Yeah, this is a weird question, but we touched on it before. Why is it always a black guy?
Yeah.
Why is
was like boxing just really? Was boxing just dominated by black boxers?
I have no idea. I don't know.
I feel like it was.
Yeah, Ali.
And maybe
Frazier,
that's why. Like
Lewis.
the 70s, 80s, 90s. I feel like most world champions were black guys, so maybe that's why. But it
is just a bit weird.
It is just a bit weird.
In every film, the villain's just some black guy, except for the Soviet one, where it's a Russian guy.
And like even in Rocky 5, it's like the main villain is the promoter. Like he's the actual antagonist. Wait, so the Rocky Balboa, when he loses a highly publicized virtual boxing match. Oh, okay, right.
What's that? What's a virtual boxing match?
Oh, this is the one. The this is the one where they put Rocky's stats into a computer against like the current champion or something like that, and the virtual Rocky loses, so Rocky gets back into boxing to prove that he could win.
That sounds terrible.
Yeah, I know.
That sounds absolutely terrible. What?
Yeah.
So he loses on fucking FIFA or something like that. And he
Reigning
decides to
heavyweight
come out of
champion
retirement.
Mason Dixon. Oh no, sorry, Rocky wins. Okay, that's what it is. When he loses a highly publicized virtual boxing match to ex-champion Rocky Balboa, reigning champion Mason Dixon retaliates by challenging Rocky to a nationally televised 10-round exhibition bout.
I see.
You fucking loser.
Yeah, I was thinking if Rocky did that, it's like, how are we supposed to root for this guy? You know?
Could you
It's
imagine?
like, how sad is
Could you imagine
this?
in real life, like in the equivalent of this would be in the early 2000s. So like the whatever champion was, the world heavyweight champion at the time in the 2000s, in 2006 specifically, was like, oh, I lost to a virtual version of Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali, come out of retirement and fight me,
Yeah,
and I'll prove that I can beat you.
Yeah.
Now, not in your prime. Now.
No, yeah. That's very weird. Who's in it?
No one really. Yeah, not really. No names. Mike Tyson's in it.
Oh shit. That would be something.
That would be something.
That would be something. Mike Tyson exhibition match with Rocky, and then like I don't know. I saw it's Rocky somehow.
He bites his ear.
He bites his nose off. Ear would be too obvious.
Yeah, it would be two on the nose.
Yeah, it'd be good metaphor.
Jokes, we got him here.
It'd be good metaphor.
Ladies and gentlemen, we
He
got him.
bites Rocky's nose off, or Rocky bites his nose off.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Hey, yo. God, Rocky.
Rocky.
A very enjoyable franchise.
It is.
I'm enjoying this one because I feel like with Alien vs Predator, kind of burnt out on those films, but
You kind of got sick of them after the 12th one.
yeah,
Around the 10th one, I think it was.
like at this stage, we were doing Prometheus,
Mm.
and like we were so far away from the end.
Yeah, we're like fully aware that it was the last good film. You know, that was the worst part.
Yeah,
You know,
like a proper, because like Prometheus is like just slightly beneath Predator MO, but like not by
we
much.
do Predator after.
Yeah,
Prometheus.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But then we did Alien Covenant, then we did Predator, and then it was just shit for a while.
Yeah, but once
In
you got
fact, it never got better.
once you got past Predator, it's like it's just a wasteland out there.
Yeah, just the horizon's so far away until Prey eventually comes.
Yeah, we were stuck out there for months in no man's land.
Oh god, Fucking, it was grim.
Every week, it's just like, oh, this is terrible again.
Oh, fucking, yeah.
Rocky always is something.
Rocky always has something, and there's always like interesting things to talk about with Rocky. You know,
Yeah.
like there was no CRT storyline in any of the Alien vs Predator films.
Yeah, no, it is like bizarrely kind of like if it was made today, it wouldn't, because obviously it's taken way more seriously now. But it's never really mentioned. I've never seen it mentioned in a sports film anyway. So like,
Yeah,
obviously
I can't think of
he's
one.
got a serious brain injury. He can't fight. You know. Now it would be kind of I don't think he'd fight if he had.
Maybe
that-
maybe Creed 4 will get that.
Yeah. I don't know what happened
I
though.
have
It just
no-
kind of killed the movie.
They
wouldn't
just do the same thing again. He goes through a street fight.
it? So
Like
yeah,
just like
it's
they
you
just
legally-
remake Rocky 5 and make it actually good somehow.
It's like you legally can't fight a boxing match. Let's do street fighting.
Yeah,
It's actually it's a good conceit.
and there's no rounds. It's just one round. Keep going.
Yeah, but then he dies at the end, so like it's kind of like a message.
Like the final blow, they like hit each other, and it's just that's the end. Then it just fades to black.
yeah.
Yeah, ooh. Cinema, cinema. I'm telling you.
Yeah, that's the treatment for Creed 4.
I'm telling you. Get us on it.
Get us on it.
we
Sign
can
us
do
up.
Sign us up. Signs us up.
There we go.
Yeah, I was like for the past like 4 minutes, like how am I going to segue into signs? And there we go.
Signs. Aliens.
Aliens. Talking about aliens. Talking about alien franchises. In fact, there's no franchise here. I watched The Signs, the M. Night Shyamalan 2005, 7, 6, around that time. This is back when M. Night Shyamalan was like proper good, like just coming out with like consistent, he did Sixth Sense. He did Unbreakable. I think he did Signs then, or maybe The Village was I think The Village is after this. But this is like, M. Night is just in his prime at this stage. But Signs is the first film that like kind of people and audiences are a bit like, that was a bit fucking weird because it turns into it's a real religious film. But like, so I've never seen Signs, but I've always heard about Signs, that like Signs is an incredible alien invasion film and a really shitty like spiritual religious film.
Yeah.
And that is 100% true. Like, okay, so Signs, people don't know, it's about crop circles. It's Mel Gibson, it's Joaquin Phoenix, it's
those kid actors.
whatever, it's the Dakota Fanning and one of the McCulkins. I think it's Rory McCulkin.
Rory, probably, yeah.
I think it's Rory McCulkin. Like, fucking some cast.
Yeah, Rory Culkin and Abigail Breslin, who is, the way there's only like 2 child actors who are
Who the hell
girls.
is Abigail? Is that not Dakota Fanning?
There was Dakota Fanning and Abigail Breslin. They were the daughters in every single Hollywood film.
Because they're
in the
like,
2000s.
we need a really good child actor.
She is really good, yeah, but she just fell off the map, like Dakota Fanning.
It is. Oh shit! Why do you think it was Dakota Fanning? Oh, yeah.
Because they're the same person.
They kind of are.
They're
She's in Zombieland.
Yeah. She was in everything. She was literally, she was the go-to girl. Oh, we have
She's Little Miss Sunshine.
Yeah, we have a 10-year-old girl we need to cast, Abigail Breslin or Dakota Fanning. Take your pick.
Yeah,
That's it.
either
No one
or.
else. Yeah.
You cannot pick someone else.
Yeah.
We don't have space in Hollywood for two little girls.
There's only enough space in town for 2 of these.
To fucking stand off.
Yeah. They have to fight each other. Apparently,
They had to go to a boxing match every time there was. Yeah. So like, it's the family unit in this film, very good. Mel Gibson is a ex-preacher, not a preacher, reverend, something like that, whose wife has recently passed away, and he's all sad and depressed. And the family, his brother is Joaquin Phoenix, who in one of the most like forced, this will become relevant later on in the film, was a junior like baseball star that like if he could hit the ball, he would get a home run. It's very quickly established in one very short scene, just so they can say later on, yeah, he could beat the piss out of an alien with a baseball bat.
Yeah.
I was like, because like I was watching, this, that is one of the most forced dialogue exposition dumps I've ever seen in a film.
Yeah, like when would that come up? Like just like hanging around your family,
Yeah, he's like looking to sign up to the military, and the military recruit person's like, "Hey, aren't you such and such? Didn't you do this?"
He's like, "Yeah, it's a fun fact."
Yeah, I did do that.
Funny if that came up later. Is he the brother?
He's the brother.
He's the brother of Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, because he comes...
I thought he was the son.
No, he comes back because Mel Gibson's all sad and depressed, and he has to be there with the family. And they're just, they're just farmers in middle of America, and one day they go outside and there's just crop circles, and it's like, it's a very cool shot of them like walking out into the crop circle, and it just pans out, and like it's just fucking huge. And like how they explain is like each piece of grass has been perfectly bent, like exactly the same length, like across. Like you couldn't do this with a machine. There's no human machine that could do this. If you're going to do this, you would have to do it like painstakingly by hand, and like it's too perfect. Like you would have heard people doing it. People would have been around.
Yeah.
And then more crop circles start to appear around the world, and it's like this really cool sense of like an invasion. Like it's very slow. There's lights in the sky. They're watching it on TV, and all the characters are sitting around watching the TV, and you're like really slow, like drip fed this information. And that's like kind of the best part of this film, which takes up about 40% of this film, and then the other 60% is, Mel Gibson struggling with the death of his wife, And the way that they resolve this is this really lame, really like, infamous twist that the aliens flee Earth because they're allergic to water. Water is their kryptonite. They die if they're in contact with water.
Yeah, they can't stand one of the fundamental components of life in the universe.
Yep.
They can't hack it.
They can't hack it. They can't hack it because of water is spiritual, religious connotations, and M. Night is like, yeah, I'll just do that.
Yeah, do you think it's a metaphor?
There's no, 100%. There's fucking no, like, it's the most obvious metaphor in a film I've ever fucking seen. Like, even the fact that, like, the alien fucking hits the ground and there's like a shot of the water dripping on its head.
Yeah. You have been baptized, my son.
It's like the demons, we're excreting the demons.
The demons.
And it's just come at the vital moment where, like, it's like the fucking flashback of his wife and dying.
Yeah, she gets split by a car or something, isn't it?
Yeah, she gets hit by a car driven by M. Night Shyamalan.
Oh, yeah. Is that a metaphor?
Yeah. I think I haven't
that's
seen.
Funny. Well, he's so fucking shameless. It's hilarious.
I know, yeah. Because like in some part, it's like, I mean, I think it's interesting that like you cast yourself as the character that, like, ruined, your protagonist's life because, like, you as the writer have done that.
Yeah.
But then in The Lady in Water, I think that's the name of that film, which comes out after The Village. In that film, he plays a man who writes a book that can save the world.
Yeah. I've never seen it, but
I've never seen it because I've heard it's a fucking terrible film. But M. Night Shyamalan, like, it's almost like he got praised for doing that, and he's like, oh, so it's cool if I just put myself as, like,
the main character
as the main
who
character
saves the world.
So yeah, like that. It's like, even all that stuff is like kind of fine, but it's like, especially now when you know where the film's leading up to, like, this is so incredibly lame.
Yeah.
And it's really annoying because the film is like incredibly well made.
Yeah. No, it's like a decent film. From what I remember, it's just like an okay film, isn't it? It's like,
No, I would say the alien invasion stuff is like the alien invasion stuff is like. I wouldn't say if it's okay. It's great. Yeah. Like, it's like genuinely like scary and like really like realistic and believable of how it could happen. Like, at one stage they're watching the TV and, like, obviously, like, the media and stuff are like, look, like, the only way that this could be done by people is that if this is like the most elaborate hoax ever done, like, that is the only explanation to this. And then they're like, what's the other options? Like, the other option is that it's real. There's like, that's the only two ways that this could happen. And then there's a scene where, like, there's like international warnings. We are being invaded. Like, this, there's no if or buts about this. And it's like, oh, and then Rory McCulkin's reading a book, and it's like he's like reading the book, like telling the family, like, what the book is saying. And there's just like, there's two options here as to what's happening if, like, when the aliens are coming. Either they're friendly and they want to make contact, or they're here to destroy us.
Yeah.
And it's like that constant, like, 50-50 at every moment as to what this could be. And, like, it is real. Okay, so it's real. What are the outcomes? Well, it's a 50-50 on whether or not they're here.
Oh shit, yeah.
And then, like, how they, like, there's a really great tense scene where, like, Mel Gibson is there's an alien behind a locked door, and at this stage Mel Gibson still doesn't fully believe that this is real, and he's like, it's a metaphor for it. He doesn't know, like, he's like, is like, what's going on? He's like turning away from it, like, he's like, he starts talking, he can see the shadows underneath the floor, and he's like, all right, come on, hoax up, like, get out. There's no answer. And he's like, oh, fuck this. And he walks away. And he's like, comes back and he looks underneath the ground. Looks underneath and he can't see anything. And then he grabs, he gets up and he's like, oh, fuck, this is stupid. And then he walks away and he comes back again. And he picks up a knife. And he sticks the knife underneath the crack. And, like, is like looking at the
knife.
Yeah. And, like, you're just like, oh, is he, like, it's like really slow tension of it. And then he stops and he's like, okay, right, if I get down on the ground and I stick the knife, I can see. he gets down and he starts looking, and then a hand just comes straight out at him. It's such a good scare. And he just fucking slices the hand off, or like a finger off, and it screeches. And like, it's like, that's not fucking human. Like, even if it's a costume, that's not fucking human screech.
Yeah.
And then it just cuts. Like, certain scenes like that are so, like, everything revolving around the alien, like, specifically the alien stuff is so good. And everything else is the middest thing you've ever watched.
Yeah. It's very, very M nice, isn't it?
Isn't it just?
It is. Alien invasion, you can't really go wrong with an alien invasion. Even as a conceit, even as just like a kind of a premise, you know. I more so remember, it's one of those films where I more so remember the parodies than the other stuff. You know?
Yeah.
I think there's like a Simpsons episode of it, and then there was the Scary Movie 3 parody.
The piss fingers.
Which was, just great. It's gold, you know. But yeah, in the movie, I just remember the movie itself just being like really, it's just like okay, because I loved Alien Invasion. When I was a kid, I loved Alien Invasion.
Yeah, man.
Anything to do with aliens.
Still do, man. I love Alien Invasion shit.
Yeah, but it never comes up anymore. Like,
no, I think it's just,
comes up.
and I wonder why. Like, I feel like you could make like a really good, like, just look at science. Just be like, let's just do that and just remove all the fucking metaphor bullshit for spirituality and religion and God. Yeah,
just like a real, like War of the Worlds did a good job, I think, of like a fairly realistic alien invasion. But like it doesn't. That's not a genre that really exhausts itself. You know, like you can just make a different version of that.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, you can just make up anything. And I remember, like, I loved Independence Day as well. I watched Independence Day a few years ago. I was like, this isn't actually very good at all.
What does he scream when he's going up?
Yippee-ki! No.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, I can't remember it. I'm confusing with Die Hard.
Honey, I'm home or something.
Yeah. And then he goes into the ship. I was like,
yeah.
He dies.
Is it? That's not. Because I've never seen Independence Day. Is it the president that does that?
No, it's this crazy guy who
right.
believes in aliens at the start of the film. Everyone thinks he's crazy. It turns out he's correct. And he sacrificed himself at the end. As like he's like vindicated. So he's like happy to just like kamikaze this huge ship.
Right.
Yeah, I was right. Bye. I thought it was great back in the day. I loved all the alien invasion movies. I thought this was good, but I was like, I thought it was gonna be way worse than it actually was. You know, just based on like your man's Shyamalan's reputation. But all the religious shit, yeah, it's just like, why? So unnecessary.
Yeah.
Like, why does he have to be like nearly like a lapsed, like, he's Catholic or Protestant or whatever? He's some kind of priest anyway. So there's just no need for that to be in the film at all.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's obviously a reverend, yeah, because he's kids.
Yeah.
But it just seems so unnecessary. Just make an alien. There's no need to be. Is Shyamalan religious? Like, it doesn't seem like he is.
I don't think there's any other religion in the other films.
Yeah. Just stick with the alien invasion stuff. Like, that's what you're good at.
Yeah.
That's the only thing he's actually good at.
Stick with the tense filmmaking, you know?
Yeah.
I've never even seen Sixth Sense.
Sixth Sense is really good.
Yeah.
But like, it's not like it's not really good. It's just good. It's a good movie.
Yeah, but I think like
it's well made.
It's really, really good considering it's his first film.
Yeah. And the fact, like, the twist is good.
Yeah.
It's well done.
Oh, man, that's like one that I'm like,
yeah.
I wish I didn't know the twist.
It's a good movie. I knew the twist as well, but I still thought it was a very good movie. And was it Unbreakable as well? You've seen
Unbreakable's
that, right?
decent.
I really liked Unbreakable.
Yeah, Unbreakable's pretty good.
I thought it was really good. It was like a
very realistic superhero film.
Yeah.
Like before that became like, we're going to do a gritty superhero film. It's like the first one to do that.
It's just an action movie where he happens to have superpowers. But it's not like an outlandish action film.
Bro, his weakness in that film is water as well.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
he's in the pool.
He's in the pool, he can't. It saps all of his energy.
Yeah. I remember the scene. Remember Mr. Glass falls down the stairs. I remember just breaking my heart laughing at that. It's just so funny. It's like Sam Jackson falling down the stairs. Just, and he has his own movie. So what the hell?
Yeah, Glass, which I don't think is meant to be very good either.
It's supposed to be shy. That's the thing. He just needs to keep it simple.
What happened to M. Night? Why did he become?
He was never good.
But like,
I think he got lucky.
Like, Sixth Sense is good. Unbreakable's good. Science is good, but like, it has its flaws. But like, I would still say it's a good film.
Yeah.
Village is pretty alright. Like, it's grand.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Lady in Water, but I've heard it's shit. And then he did The Happening, which is just that's a real movie.
It's a movie, all right.
And then Last Airbender, which is like the worst live action adaptation of a cartoon ever.
Split. I thought Split was fucking terrible.
I thought,
I
man,
hated
people
Split.
love Split.
I hated Split.
I don't like
I
Split.
thought it was terrible. Well, I'll retract what I said. He was. I wouldn't say he was never good, but like I think he just got really high on his own farts. Like,
yeah,
like Sixth Sense and Unbreakable, I really like those films, but they're not crazy good. Like, you know,
yeah, they're not like, you know.
I wouldn't be like, you have to watch this to someone. They're really good. They're good movies, well worth the watch, but they're not must sees. But then it seems like after that, I don't know, he kind of overreached, you know, kind of overstepped his boundaries. But yeah. But yeah, you have to kind of respect the grind. Like,
No, Sixth Sense isn't even his first film.
Isn't that? What's the first one?
He's got two things down here.
Praying with Anger.
Praying with Anger.
And he's the
was
main
his
character.
First film. He's got 2.5 on Letterboxd, and also Wide Awake. It's a basketball film. So he made two shit films. Then made a good film. Then made another good film. Then made another. So basically, two films made this man's career.
Yeah.
Jesus, After Earth. I forgot he did that film.
After Earth.
The biggest vanity project that Hollywood's ever produced.
I remember that, yeah.
Will Smith, I will make you like my son.
Yeah, Jaden. What was the last end of it? Yeah, I kind of gone through them all. The Visit. You ever see The Visit?
No, is it good?
I've heard it's not very good, but I can't remember who said it to me. I've never watched it though.
I can't believe I've seen 7 of his films.
Yeah, you're a super fan.
Yeah, I'm his biggest fan.
You're actually M. Night Shyamalan's biggest fan on
Yeah.
earth.
I've seen 7.
No one else has seen more than 7
I've seen 7 out of his 17 credited films on Letterboxd.
Not Cabin, I've never heard of that.
That only came out this year. It's meant to be good.
I seen the trailer.
2.9. Okay, I take that back. It's meant to be alright.
At the cabin.
I think the thing with M. Night is just like I understand that your whole thing, like your whole thing outside of Unbreakable is that like there's a twist, but like get a new gimmick.
Yeah, or just focus on the story, you know? Focus on everything before the twist. Really. You know?
Yeah. Like,
keep it simple.
like, what's the twist in the happening? Oh, the twist is that it's the wind. Oh no, the twist is that it's the Earth producing something that makes people. That film is so fucking bad. that film is awful. It's an awful film. Oh god, yeah.
You've watched 41% of his filmography.
I'll try.
You gotta up those numbers, man.
I feel like I gotta get at least. I think I feel it. But like none of his other films interest me. Like I don't.
What are the other ones? Trap.
That's
no,
coming out
they're
next
coming
year.
out. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like, maybe I'll watch The Visit, but I don't think I will.
I wouldn't be arsed.
I don't think there's another M. Night film that I'm really super arsed at watching. Yeah. Actually, briefly, I watched Dodgeball.
Dodgeball, a true underdog story.
That film is mad.
It is. It's a great film. I love the film.
It's such a.
It's very dated, but like it's just like
It's incredibly dated, but my
extremely
god.
dated, but like in a way that's like it's kind of endearing.
Yeah. I
Um,
was like, oh,
because it
they
is
really-
genuinely funny.
they really don't make films like this anymore.
They really don't, because they can't really.
For better and for worse.
For various reasons, which are good and bad. But yeah, no, it's because it's a genuinely funny film, and it has a good heart. You know, it has a good heart.
It's a good message at the end.
Yeah. It's like it's pointing in the right direction. It's not mean spirited at all. You know, you're
For the most part.
well, yeah, for the patches of hooligan getting slammed by that's one of the funniest things I've ever seen. But yeah, everything with Ben Stiller just knocks it out of the park as well. So funny. But yeah, what did you think? What was the assessment? When was the last time you seen it?
Oh man, I like basically put it as like a new watch because like I was like, I've seen this before. Obviously, I remember all the bits, but I haven't seen this film in probably 10 plus years.
Yeah.
So like, obviously, I remember like a patch is getting hit. You can dodge a wrench. You can dodge a ball.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
5 rules of dodgeball: dodge, dip, duck, dive, and dodge. I remember all that shit. I even remember the ending where I was like, that's a really nice ending. Like Vince Vaughn, whatever the fuck his character's name is like you know, here at Average Joe's, we think you're all right the way that you are, but if you want to improve yourself a little bit, you want to, work out a little bit, come here. I was like, that's a nice message.
Yeah.
I forgot the bit where the love interest character, they're like joking all the way through, like she has to be a lesbian.
Yeah.
Like, and it's like, and then at the end I was like, oh yeah, she's a lesbian. And then she turns out, like, actually I'm bi, and then kisses Vince Vaughn in front of her girlfriend.
Yeah.
I was like, huh. Yeah. There's a reason why they don't make films like this anymore.
Yeah, you couldn't get away with that now. Though, yeah, that was kind of exploitative. It was just openly exploitation. But the film was kind of full of that, like, fucking horrible, weird, like
mid-2000s comedy.
Yeah,
where like some of it hits, and then because like people getting hit with a dodgeball is never not funny.
It's never not funny. The characters behind it, and then like it's mainly what's his name, Turd, or what's Ben Stiller's character's name? I can't remember.
Oh, I have no idea.
Yeah, no, I think I'm totally messing that up. But he's the main. He's kind of the driving force behind all the kind of the sexual harassment jokes,
There's a lot of them.
But he's the villain, so like that's it kind of works. You still couldn't have that really today.
Well, no, I think it like works out in the film because like Vince Vaughn never really lays hand on him until the end of the film, and that's after the female. Jesus, Signs is 2002. Sorry, I just saw that film's so old. Fucking hell. The whatever the female character's name is, she drops him at one stage. Like, he's like in her face, and she's like, "Get off." He's like, "Come on, baby, you like it?" And then she just cracks him in the face.
Yeah.
And he's like, "You made me bleed my own blood."
Yeah.
No one does that.
It's great. That's his actual wife as well.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She's his wife.
That's funny.
Yeah,
that alleviates a little bit of the weirdness of those scenes.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah, the part where he has like the pizza down his jocks. Oh, and he's like reading like he's reading something like upside down, and then he has like a pump.
Yeah, a penis pump.
But it's like it just pumps up his jocks. It's just so fucking funny. And the whole Steve the Pirate. My favorite part of the film was always Steve the Pirate. It's just out of it's just like he just changes, and then when your man's just like, "Who's Steve the Pirate?"
That is my favorite joke in the film. It's like, man, we even lost Steve the Pirate. Who's Steve the Pirate?
It's like the pirate guy.
The guy that just is the pirate. Doesn't ring any bells.
It's so funny.
Even like the fucking the car wash scene, which starts off like really funny, and then there's just the redneck being like, "Yeah, that's it, boy. Get in there real deep to what's his name? What's the actor's name? Oh, he was in
Justin Long.
Justin Long.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's good. Yeah, he's good.
He's very good in the film.
Yeah. No, it's a good movie. They're making the second one now. They're gonna make a second one with Ben. See, the thing is, I always hated Vince Vaughn in this film. I didn't like him. I thought he was too smug.
Yeah, he's a real like smarmy like.
Yeah, he's not really an average Joe. That's I never really got that. But
he's a bit of a he's meant to be like a likable prick, but like he's not all that likable.
Yeah, he's not terribly likable. The scene actually with Lance Armstrong is
hilarious.
It's hilarious in retrospect.
That's another. But like there's so many like weird bits in the film where it's like it comes down to like it's like ESPN H down in the Ocho, and like fucking Jason Bateman is in this film as well.
Yeah, we'll see how it works, Cotton. Jason Bateman's just there. They did that as an actual stunt as well.
He has a fucking neck tattoo in this film of a dodgeball on fire.
Yeah.
And like it's like like it's a stamp or like it's a double. What the fuck is it? Oh, but they left Vince Vaughn even into it at the end because he's showing up at the end and like no wait, there's a executive fucking order, whatever the fuck it is. Like this can come down to the judges. If the judges decide, first judge no, then yes, and then it's down to the third judge. And the third judge is just Chuck Norris.
It's for no reason whatsoever.
It's like that had dated. And it's dated so far that it's actually funny again.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the fucking Lance Armstrong bit, I think like there's a few like that bit where like Lance Armstrong is just like going through like all the adversity that he faced.
How did he say that? Like,
I have no idea.
How did he say that on camera without like being like, maybe I shouldn't do this? It's like maybe this could come back to bite me in the ass.
Maybe again, it's hilarious in retrospect.
Yeah. It really works. But they're making a second one. Vince Vaughn and Ben Stiller Ben Stiller's on board, so I have a lot of faith. Like, it would be alright at least.
When you were mentioning Independence Day, I was reminded that there was an Independence Day 2.
It's so apparently it's really, really bad. I've never seen
Oh,
it.
it is, but like it's the same thing. Like you have Zoolander 2, which is
Did you see that?
no, I haven't even seen Zoolander.
I've never seen Zoolander.
Yeah,
I feel like maybe I did see a bit of it because I've never or I've seen the clips. I just never found anything funny.
do you know what the
Yeah.
fucking that meme of like Ben
Yeah.
Stiller and Owen Wilson's like,
Yeah.
if you see us in the club. I
Yeah.
thought it was such a good meme.
Yeah,
My favorite meme of early 2023.
it's a good meme. I just don't get the film though.
No.
And any of the clips I don't find them funny at all. You know.
No,
It's like, unpopular opinion. I never found Anchorman funny at all.
Anchorman's alright.
I never found it. I never really clicked with me.
Yeah, because remember like friends and stuff like that, like quoting that film like all the time and like everyone laughing about it.
Mm.
And then I watched the film and was like, it's like alright.
Yeah, I didn't. It's more so like there's loads of like Dodgeball. I just found way funnier. Like not even close.
I think it's because there's way more physical comedy in that. But even like, because like Patch is getting hit with something, dropping off is so funny because it's just so out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's creamed.
Yeah, he just gets flattened by fucking what is it? It's
The
like
look of the Irish.
yeah, look, look at the Irish. So
oh
good.
god, yeah.
So stupid.
It's just complete like stupid comedy.
Mm.
They don't really make films like that anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't really, or it's like some Seth Rogen vehicle. It's just like, no, it's the same thing again.
Yeah, because I can't think of like a modern example of that. You know, that sort of comedy. Like, because I feel like, did The Hangover change how like comedy films came, or like Judd Apatow films and stuff like that?
Yeah, it's all just Judd Apatow stuff, isn't it? Now?
Yeah,
But,
like that
he wouldn't
vague
be
style.
Yeah, he wouldn't really be focused on that, would he? Like the physical, like the Disaster Artist, for example. It's not really like the comedy in that isn't you know, it's not people just getting creamed by arcade machines or like whatever, or like
I feel like
or having dodgeballs thrown at them. It's like there's like it's just more like, I don't know. It's not abstract at all, but it's more just the writing,
yeah,
based on the writing.
and like Step
the
Brothers is
characters.
another great one of that.
Step Brothers is good, yeah.
Although I'm saying this and then I'm reminded that there's that Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly Sherlock Holmes film,
Oh dear, yeah.
which I think is like that is like a modern example of that, and it is meant to be dog shit.
Yeah. What
So
happened there?
maybe there's a reason why they stopped making those films.
Two great comedians though.
I really love John C. Reilly.
Yeah, he's so good.
He's so fucking
He's so
funny.
good. Like,
And even the likes of like Walk Hard and stuff like that, like they don't do.
I rewatched that recently. It's so funny.
My favorite scene in that
Yeah.
film is the get out of here. What the fuck is his name?
Oh, the monkey.
No, what's the rise and fall of what's the main character's name?
Dewey Cox.
Dewey Cox. Like, get out of here, Dewey. You don't do this. We're doing smoking marijuana, and then it just escalates.
Yeah.
And the Beatles scene.
The Beatles scene. Yeah, every part of it is just like so multi-layered, you know. And at the end, when they're all like, it's just like the mutiny, and like your man's only grief with Dewey is like, you never pay for drugs, not once. And he says it 3 times.
Rule
So
3s, you know. Everything is funnier 3 times.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
God. We go for a quick break.
Let's do it.
And now for our recommended film, 2010, from 1984, directed by Peter Hyams? Hames? We'll go Hames. While planet Earth poises on the brink.
That's just not his name.
What's his name?
Oh, like, yeah, Hyams. Let's go Hames. We'll go Hames.
What Hames? How would you pronounce that?
Hyams.
Hyams. Hi,
Hames.
Yams.
We're going to go Hames.
Peter Yams. While planet Earth poises on the brink of nuclear self-destruction, a team of Russian and American scientists aboard the Lenov hurdles. Oh, fucking hell. Let me start again. While planet Earth poises... Fucking hell. While planet Earth poises on the brink of nuclear self-destruction. A team of Russian and American scientists aboard the Lenov aboard the Lenov hurdles towards a I feel like there should be fucking commas in this. Hurdles to a rendezvous. Fucking. Where's the other description? Where's the other fucking description? Fuck this. An ambitious sequel to Kubrick's science. Fucking Jesus. An ambitious sequel to Kubrick's sci-fi classic. A group of astronauts are sent to unravel the mysteries of what went wrong on the original mission. There we go. Fucking hell. I hate descriptions that don't have commas where they should have commas.
Yeah, to be fair, that description is all over the shop. When planet Earth poises on the... I don't think that's right. That's not grammatically correct.
Yeah. Edges towards the brink of nuclear destruction. A team of Russian and American scientists on board the Lenov hurtles to a rendezvous with the still orbiting Discovery spacecraft and its sole known survivor, the homicidal computer HAL. See, Letterboxd, let me write the descriptions. My God.
Yeah,
right.
yeah. That description is like a fucking Cormac McCarthy.
My God, why was there so many
Prose extract.
difficult fucking words in that?
No commas. Grammatically incorrect. And rendezvous thrown in for no reason.
Yeah. I feel like it should have been... I'm going to cut this bit out, but like, I think it should have been while Earth poises on the brink of nuclear of self-destruction. Oh, there actually is a fucking comma there. Fuck's sake. Okay, right. Okay. This is 2010. Okay.
2010.
So, I posed this last episode that the reason why I wanted to watch this film was because we did The Wicker Tree. And I feel like we did another sequel to a really famous, classic, that was like
The Shining.
We did The Shining. That was a remake, but that kind of going like films that were going back to or like a sequel or a reimagining of like classic films.
Yeah.
And I don't think that there's a more classic, monumental film than 2001.
I agree.
Despite like my own personal feelings towards the film, it is like top 5 most important films ever made.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. It's 2001. Like, why? As a director, as a producer, as a writer, as anyone in this film, why would you take that up? Like, what if this film turns out to be shit?
Yeah.
So, and I've never heard about the sequel, and I was like, oh, what if it's a sequel to the book and not a sequel to the film? Because I feel like I talked about a film a while ago that did that, where it was a sequel to the book exclusively and not a sequel to the film. I can't remember what that film was, but we definitely talked about a film that did that.
Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange, yes, is a sequel to the book, not the film.
Mm-hmm.
So like, never heard anything about this film. It had like a 3 on Letterboxd. I was like, okay, right, it's mixed reviews, kind of. I wonder what it'll be like. Sorry.
I liked it.
It's like
I actually actively liked it.
Yeah, like I this is a film I would say I like.
Yeah, I like this film.
And like, I think it's a wise decision to not try and replicate stylistically anything from 2001. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, like it isn't Kubrickian. It's just kind of, Kubrick-esque. Kubrick-ish. Does that even make any... I don't think what I just said makes any sense at all. But, like, it's not a... In one way, it feels like almost more sterile and, like, sanitized than 2001.
I think it's because it's, like... It's really generic.
It is, yeah. Like, it's way more generic. And it doesn't have as much of the... Like, 2001 is really kind of robotic in the way the Kubrick films are. I think maybe it's just the way it's made, reflecting on the final product.
Yeah.
But 2001 is full of like all this kind of... It's constantly alluding to something else happening in the background. Like that's the whole science fiction aspect of it. What kind of sets it apart, apart from just like the technical aspects of the film, is what is kind of the themes behind it, about like transhumanism and like alien life
and evolution, where we were, where we're going.
Yeah, all that stuff. Like it's literally starts at the dawn of time and it goes up to like the next stage of human evolution. It's really like huge, like a massive philosophical, historical, scientific scope. This film doesn't have any of those things really. it doesn't have the same like philosophical scope in terms of like its themes. The themes are pretty like basically just lifted from 2001, and it isn't like it's like the guy who directed this, Peter Hames.
Peter Yams.
Peter Hyams. He is not Stanley Kubrick, obviously. He is just some guy. He did End of Days. He did Capricorn 1, which I really enjoyed.
Is that the tunneling one?
No, the one with it's where O.J. Simpson goes to Mars, but he doesn't actually go to Mars.
Oh, right.
It's the one where
Never heard of that film.
It's a fake mission to Mars, which might. I'm sure the fact that he directed the sequel to 2001, which was supposedly directed by the man who faked the moon landings. I'm sure somewhere Peter Hames directing this film, having previously directed a film about faking a mission to Mars, is like tied into the whole moon landing conspiracy theory somewhere. You know,
sure it is.
Capricorn 1. It's actually a pretty good film. It's a good thriller, with O.J. Simpson in it, from like the 70s. But this film is just kind of like it's quite generic in terms of like how it's directed.
Yeah.
The story itself is pretty generic.
Like the set design and everything like that on the Russian spaceship, and then when they go to the Discovery, which is the one from 2001. But like everything on the Lenov, whatever the fuck it's called, very
basic.
I was gonna say alienish. Like it really like
from Alien.
Like from Alien. Like the fucking like there's a
Mm.
shot of them sitting around a round table, and I was like, this looks like it's from Alien.
Yeah.
Like it's like the like analog sci-fi-ness.
Yeah, like the desk and like kind of the
monitors and the buttons and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's very like mechanical. Which is a style that I really like, and I don't really see it all that often. So I was like, oh, that's like, you know, visually something I'm interested in. It's got a fucking unbelievable cast. It's got Roy Schneider, we got John Lithgow, Helen Mirren, you know, big names.
Bob Balaban,
Douglas Rain, reprising his role as Hal, I think. I don't know.
Yeah. Hal's back, and what's his name?
The guy from 2001.
Care Delay, I think his name is.
Yeah.
He is back, and he looks the exact same as what he looked like in 1969, 15 years later.
Like, he has aged, like, more gracefully in the 15 years between 2001 and 2010 than all the characters in Rocky 4 to Rocky 5. And there's not 15 years in between those films. I think there's 4.
Yeah. Yeah, Adrian aged more in the 4 years between Rocky 4 and Rocky 5 than this chap aged probably between now and then, back when he first filmed 2001. That's a recent picture. He's still looking pretty good. I think
he has a very distinct face with very distinct features.
Yeah, he's a very bony face. Okay? It lends well to retaining your
youth.
But yeah, he's in this as whatever his name is, Dave. Yeah, Dave Bowman.
I can't do that, Dave.
I'm sorry, Dave. I cannot do that. And Hal, the original Hal, is there talking with him. But Hal and Dave have kind of become like a symbiotic organism.
Yeah.
In and of themselves in this film.
Yeah. Like, I think what you were saying about the idea of like something happening in the background, that like what's happening in 2001 is a small part of a much larger thing as a whole. But in this film, the larger part is really tied to the characters, and like the characters really matter in this sci-fi film, where in 2001 they really don't.
Yeah, that's actually a really good way to explain it. Yeah, like 2001 is very much like the characters. It's like Kubrick films in general. The characters aren't that important.
Yeah,
like, generally speaking, they're just more vehicles for themes and like, I don't know, forces, historical forces, or like whatever, political forces, or, you know, philosophical, scientific forces through which they channel and then express themselves in the story. And this in 2010, it's like it's more like
Roy Schneider's a dad.
Yeah, Roy Schneider. He's the main character, and he is the main character, and it's kind of about him and how he deals with the situation. And he's basically tasked with saving the human race And it's given to him. The task is given to him in a way, in kind of like a vision, which again isn't really like in sync with the way 2001 kind of worked. Where it's in 2001, it's Dave just gets. He's off on this bizarre mission, and he comes across something which he can't understand. No one understands, and he's abducted, or he falls into some kind of bizarre like parallel dimension, and then it's unclear what exactly happens. But basically, he isn't really important as a character in the film at all.
And then of course there's that scene where like he's trying to communicate to his child through the books. And this like really cool depiction of the fourth dimension.
Yeah,
Interstellar. It's like, Murph!
Roy Schneider is Matthew McConaughey in Interstellar, but in 2010. It's like, Christopher Nolan. All the comparisons with Kubrick and Kubrick's main film are like kind of like, I don't know, his magnum opus, whatever. You have like 2001. 2001. If we're comparing it, and there were comparisons at the time with Interstellar.
Mm-hmm.
Interstellar is like nothing like 2001 at all.
It's so much more like 2010.
It's
unbelievably so.
It's so much more like 2010, just in terms of the way more character based, way more like the themes aren't happening in the background; they're just kind of in your face.
Mm-hmm.
They're just kind of the characters are talking about it as they happen, even just to the basic points of the plot. This kind of fish out of water scientist is sent off on this kind of like slapdash crew to investigate something weird happening out in the solar system, and he has to deal with isolation from his family and communication lines and stuff like that,
and like time being a thing about this. Like it's a really long time to get there and a really long time to get back.
Yeah, and having to save the human race at the end of it.
Yeah.
Because he understands something that no one else in the universe does, which is again like very 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 focused on the protagonist as the kind of the key to driving the story, which is nothing like what 2001 was at all.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it still really works as a film.
Oh, yeah.
It's still a good film,
Mm-hmm.
very enjoyable in terms of how.
Interstellar, by the way, is a better film than this. Just in case.
Interstellar
is a much better film than 2010.
Yeah. Well, I had 40 years congestion time, or like 30 years. Interstellar is definitely better effects and all that stuff. But this is a perfectly like serviceable film. If you're gonna make a sequel to like one of the greatest films of all time, like 2010 is probably the best you could imagine. That coming off.
Like I was reading like something that's like some critic at the time was like, this is one of the rare occasions where like a film comes out years after its sequel, or it is a sequel to like a monumental film, and it doesn't detract from it whatsoever. Like you could watch 2010 and it doesn't take away from 2001 in the slightest.
No, yeah. It
is kind of unnecessary, but it's also like it's fun.
Yeah, it's totally unnecessary, which is why no one really knows about it.
Yeah,
but it doesn't detract from the film at all. It's like a fun kind of companion piece, which isn't that fun. It's just good. It's okay.
It's decent.
It's worth a watch.
Yeah.
I'd say it's worth a watch. It's like it's under 2 hours.
I think it's amazing that the effects in this film when they're in outer space look worse than in 2001.
Yeah. It's not even close.
Yeah,
way
they look
worse.
So much worse.
Yeah, it's not definitely not made to the same standard as 2001 was, which is bizarre because I'd say that the budget was a lot bigger as well. But no, it still works. It has that feeling of being more kind of based on whatever the book would be. Even though like 2001 was written, the book was written concurrently with the film,
Mm-hmm.
so written at the same time. And 2010, I think, was written obviously after the movie came out. But I'd say Clark would have had way more say.
Yeah,
Obviously, because he's the writer, way more say over how the story unfolds. And it does kind of over-explain some things which don't really need to be explained.
there's a lot of exposition dumps to explain what's happening.
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of like they explain in this film why Hal went homicidal, and it's because of like humans decide like there's
Conflicting orders.
yeah being told like you need to complete the mission at all costs. Like he was told by the U.S. government, Hal being told you need to complete the mission at all costs. But then and also keep the crew safe. But when the crew decides in 2001, like we need to switch off Hal because he's acting weird, Hal then has like a paranoid break and decides to kill the crew in order to complete the mission. but like that is less interesting than the implications in 2001, where it's like it's an AI gaining sentience
Yeah.
and deciding, like, because it's the film deals with evolution, and in this
Yeah.
film, it's like it wasn't to do with evolution; it had to deal with conflicting messages from humans, which is like that does take away from an aspect of 2001.
Yeah, I wouldn't take that too seriously, though, you know.
No,
But it's unnecessary.
but then, of course, then how in this film, when he's being presented conflicting information to do with the mission, he decides, "I will save humans this time."
Yeah, he's a good guy in this film
Yeah, he's actually a hero.
for some reason.
It is quite. I like it. I like that. Like that scene is quite tense because like I didn't expect like. I didn't know where the fuck this film was going. I was like, shit, does Hal turn again? Like, is he going to turn into a villain again? Because, like, Hal is, like, one of the most iconic villains from a film ever.
Yeah, and it's funny that he's not even really, like, the main kind of focus of the film that he's actually in,
It's
you know?
only, like, a sequence. It's like, I think
Mm.
him deciding to, kill the crew in 2001 is, like, 20 minutes.
Yeah, no, yeah, he's not.
Half, like, if he, at a push, I'm going to say half an hour, but I don't think it's that long.
He's like the Tommy Gunn of 2001, you know?
Yeah, but, like, the best Tommy Gunn ever.
But it still works. you know?
Yeah.
It's not the main point of the film, but he's still a great kind of foil for the story. But yeah, no, the film is it's also cool that because it's kind of unknown and kind of forgotten and kind of a bit unnecessary. You actually don't know where it is going to go because no one really knows what happens in the film.
Yeah, I had no idea where this film was going.
I hadn't a clue either. Like it is, and it's not like entirely obvious either. Like it's not. It is quite mysterious, and it's not clear what's going to happen in the film or like what is exactly happening in certain sequences, which is always good. But the fact that it's standing, it's kind of like overshadowed, or like massively overshadowed by its predecessor, is good for the actual watch experience because you generally don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
But it is still like a well-made movie with iconic characters, and that just it's a good kind of. It feels like you're watching you are watching for the first time.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
it feels like you're watching a new movie nearly.
Yeah, I say because like with 2001, if you watch it now, like you know what happens because of how iconic the film is. Like you know where it's going. You know all the beats of the film. You know you're watching scenes like I've seen this like a million times. But like in this film, you're watching it's like I've seen this film a million times because it's quite generic. But because it has 2001, because that crazy foundation has already been established, you've no idea where this film is going. Like the plot of this film is essentially like there's a huge monolith beside Jupiter, and it's sentient, and it has like it's intelligent, and it's communicating to humans through these like weird time paradoxes, especially through David, who's like a weird interdimensional ghost sort of, and he's communicating to them, and then I thought like one of the best like visuals in the film is when they're just about to, they're basically told like they're there and they're like, you have to study the monolith and all this type of shit, and then they're told like you have to leave within 2 days. Like Hal's is like I'm getting a message from somewhere, and they're like, is it a voice, is it a text? Like I don't know, I just have this information.
Yeah.
And he's just like creepy. You need to leave within 2 days or else something bad's gonna happen. And when they're leaving, there's like a weird storm that's like forming beside like in Jupiter, but it looks like, I thought the visual of like
the
eye
yeah,
was really cool. For a second I was like, holy shit, is Jupiter gonna turn into a monster here? Holy fuck. It's not that cool. It's a bunch of mini monoliths coming out of it. And
is that what it is?
That's what it is. It's a bunch of mini monoliths coming in and like changing the molecular composition of Jupiter. That was extremely difficult for me to get out.
Yeah, no, I thought it was cool because like going back to like the original films, like it's kind of like the psychedelic aspects. Like the tagline was like, what was it, the weirdest trip you'll ever be on or something like that for the poster. That was the official tagline of the film. But then and you have that, and this film is quite clinical. It doesn't really veer into that territory, Probably because it's like in the 80s.
Yeah.
Everyone's on coke, not LSD.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the difference. The filmmakers are on coke and not LSD.
Yeah,
that's the difference
yeah.
between 2001 and 2010.
That's why this film's so focused and clean.
Yeah.
But like, just the visual of like this like eye like dilating. I
Mhm.
thought that was really. I don't know if that was on purpose, but I thought that was kind of a cool.
I'm sure it was.
Yeah, that was kind of a cool kind of visual, in terms of like the original's idea of like transcendence through this crazy trip and the whole, the space sequence where he's going through with all the lights going on. Like that's like clearly some kind of psychedelic trip happening. But yeah, no, and then Jupiter turns into a star for some reason.
And there's
It collapses in on itself.
It collapses in on itself, and there's loads of mini planets. And like we were talking about this beforehand, but like because in 2001, it's that, and again this ties back into Interstellar, that because 2001 is like showing the evolutions of humans, and then it's like humans become this like space baby, which is, I'm very disappointed there's no space babies in this film. But anyway,
Well, briefly, Dave is shown as a space baby when he meets.
I think I missed that.
When he meets, because the way he's like old and he's young again, and he's really old and he's young again. At one point, he's a space baby.
I think
and
the scream that happened. Shit.
And what's his name? Roy Schneider is just like staring there like confused.
What the fuck is that?
And then he looks away and he looks back again and he's just Dave again. Because he's never seen the space baby before.
Damn. Oh fuck! I missed the space baby.
Yeah.
But because of that, like, we can then I feel like in this film then it's what is happening in this film and the events is humans in the like far future, the same way in Interstellar where it's like we've transcended the third dimension and we're into the fourth and fifth dimension, that it's us communicating back to ourselves and solving, because back on Earth Russia and America are like coming head to head to like nuclear war, and it's like this is the end of the world, and humans in the future have come back to prevent that from happening by providing more resources and more here's a goal to reach and work together to get to Jupiter and explore these new planets, but don't you go near Solaris, whatever the fuck the planet's called.
Yeah, don't touch Europa,
yeah. Don't go near that. We will nuke you out of the sky.
Yeah. I don't know if they knew at the time. Europa is like the best candidate for life in the solar system as well, by far. There's a huge ocean underneath it.
Possibly.
Massive ocean.
Maybe they knew. So like that's just literally like that's Interstellar, like going fourth and fifth dimension versions of ourselves in the far future coming back to ourselves to resolve the end of the world. Like that is Interstellar, and that's this film as well. And then there's like all these little planets and these cool shots of Paris and the pyramids and stuff like that with two suns in the sky.
Oh, I feel like that would destroy the Earth.
I also had that thought. I was like, that we're getting blasted with like radiation and like
too much light. But the aliens know better than us.
I'm sure they did. I trust them.
Like you'd be like, oh, these guys know what they're doing.
Yeah. I'm sure they know what they're doing.
If your man came back, if the crew came back and you're like, oh, that just happened, everyone would be like, oh shit,
yeah,
we're fucked.
We're fucked.
It's like there's no other explanation. It just collapsed.
Here's a question for you, Mark.
What?
Are we closer to the sun than we are to Jupiter?
Yeah.
So maybe a mini sun where Jupiter is, like, if you scale it the right way.
Yeah, it probably would work. It'd probably be okay. It's quite a bit further than Earth, I think. I can't remember how much though. But yeah, it could work. Maybe we could make that happen.
I feel like just like, well, like, they're in the Goldilocks zone.
Yeah.
Does that mean between the two suns we have to be in like a Goldilocks zone between two suns?
Yeah, that's the thing. We're throwing this X factor, which we can, can't account for at all. Yeah, pretty get too hot. We wouldn't have to worry about global warming anymore, though.
Suppose.
Because just be hot all the time.
Yeah, it's like, listen, just use these other planets. We have fucked up Earth for you now.
Yeah, they kind of do invite humans to just explore the rest of the universe or the solar system and like get off Earth. So maybe it's a push. It's like, yeah, you can't stay on Earth.
This
now.
is a ticking time bomb now. You have to get off there.
Two suns. Yeah.
America, you take one planet. Russia, you take the other. Sort yourselves out.
Yeah, just stay separate.
No, yeah. I really like the monolith in this film. I always think strangely enough, in this film, I feel like the idea of the monolith hit harder. That I was like, maybe because it's just fucking huge. I'm like, it's just this huge, perfectly not soft, perfectly like flat, smooth, giant monolith in space. And for some reason, for whatever reason, that hit me more than just like, a smaller version of that on the moon.
I was the reverse. I kind of like the more quaint, small monolith. You know?
Yeah.
It's like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
But no, yeah, it is. It's a striking image in the film. It's huge. It was a kilometer long monolith in space. It's like the UFO or whatever. The asteroid.
Yeah.
It was like a monolith.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like a monolith, but it was like bizarrely long.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't round or anything like that. It was called like Mama or something like that. Mama. And they don't know what it was. It had like this very bizarre elliptical orbit as well. I don't know if there was any comparisons at the time, but it seems like it's one of the monoliths. Yeah. It's one of the monoliths.
Trying to reach out to us.
It was about a kilometer long as well.
Yeah.
You know, it's the aliens, man.
It's the aliens, bro. Or is it ourselves? Are we the aliens?
It's me from the future.
It's Mark from the future communicating to us now. Oh yeah, but yeah, solid. Like a much better film than I was expecting.
Yeah, I didn't have huge hopes, but it worked. I'd say solid 6, 7.
Yeah, solid 6, 7. Side note as well.
Yeah.
Would you live in a gaff with dolphins? Would you do that?
A gaff with dolphins?
Because Roy Schneider has dolphins living in his house.
Does he?
Yeah, he's got the pool with the dolphins and his kids feeding them.
Oh yeah.
I was sitting there, I was like dolphins are way less cute and like friendly when how homicidal and crazy they are.
Yeah, they're all mad rapists as well.
Yeah, they'll for fun just tear animals apart in the ocean.
Yeah,
just 'cause they can.
I wouldn't be a fan of that.
Why the hell do you have 2 dolphins near your small child?
They'd be like too smart. I'd be too uncomfortable with that, you know.
Yeah.
It's like because they are like so intelligent. It's like surely they know that they're the ones getting fucked over here. They're gonna overthrow us.
Is it a metaphor?
It's a metaphor. Yeah.
We're the dolphins.
Intelligence
to the monoliths.
Yeah.
Must be.
And we're just being kept in the pool.
Yeah, kept in the pool while they decide what they're gonna do with us.
Yeah.
But yeah, really. Do you have an old recommended film there for us, Mark?
I have a few suggestions.
Mm-hmm. Run us through them.
Well, I have one suggestion.
Okay.
Can Dialectics break bricks? That was my only suggestion.
Let's go for
it's
it.
It's an art house film.
Let's do it.
I don't know what it's going to be like. Apparently it's pretty good. So
who's it by?
I have no idea.
Can Dialectics break bricks?
Yeah. If
I have heard of this film. Did you mention this in podcast before?
Yeah, I mentioned it a few weeks ago.
Oh, okay, yeah.
If it turns out that it's actually not very good at all, I will just change it.
Yeah. I'm okay with that.
We'll just change it.
We'll just change it.
I will just adjust the description for this episode.
Yeah, exactly.
If it hasn't been adjusted, then you can consider it done and that this is the recommended film for next episode.
Perfect.
So yeah, so it's Can Dialectics Break Bricks? Apparently it's a comedy by Renee Vienne from 1973.
Whopper.
Yeah. Cool.
Good night. God bless.
Bye.